That's right, Jennifer. That's right. It's nice to trim early in the morning, that's for sure. Good morning, everybody. If I could just get a mic check and a screen check, if you just let me know everything looks good. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and get started here. All right, first things first, we're going to look at ES futures. So a little bit different screen setup, just so that everybody understands what we're looking at. We have two charts. Today I'm going to be looking at the weekly on the left. On the right, we have a 4 hour, and I'll explain why that's important. And then over to the right, these are our live trade alerts that come straight from my brokerage account within milliseconds to our members here, to our family. So we're all set up and ready to go. The first thing I want to do is talk about ES futures. The reason why is because that directs me in the right trend for the day. First things I want to tell you about is that we have an inside week on the ES futures. We pushed up into the red box yesterday. This was our target from entry on Friday. We did well on those SPY calls, around 80 to 100%, and then we let go of that trade. This morning, as we wake up, we have a new line in the sand that's 38.97. Notice that price has moved up nicely right into 38.97 and it has stalled. That's why it's called the line in the sand. Bulls today need to hold above here for at least 30 minutes to an hour. I'd like to see this happen within the first 15 to 20 minutes. And then, of course, we need to take out this pivot high. Understand that right above the ES futures, we have 39.16 and 39.25 as resistance. I have two alerts today that I want to tell you guys about, and I would ask that you put those on your chart because everything between those two numbers are just noise. Okay, so 39.26 and 3/4. Go ahead and set an alert there, 39.26 and 7.75, and then below 38.49.25. Anything that happens between these two numbers is just noise for the day. This would be a consolidation cycle, a phase after yesterday's run up. This happens all the time. And what happens is people that were just sitting on the sidelines yesterday and had a hard time executing, they just kind of watched, and now today they want to actually jump into trades. The market knows that. Let it consolidate, and again, wait for these alerts to go off. If you're bullish, don't be concerned as long as price is above this 38.49 and a quarter. And if you are still in trades, just be patient and see if we can get above this resistance point. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our focus trades. I'm going to go over these quite quickly because I have quite a few that I want to look at. And we're going to go alphabetical here. First thing is going to look at is Amazon. All right, so we entered Amazon yesterday and it pushed up a nice 50 to 60 points. Just like yesterday, we're going to go over the 4 hour and we're going to look at the weekly. The weekly came low on the curve or close to the trendy edge, and this is where we want to look to get long. So far, that's worked out. Far as smaller time frame, we're in what we call the EMA cloud. Okay, so this EMA cloud here is made up of different EMA numbers. Okay, and as long as we are in here, I expect price to be choppy. As far as today is concerned, as long as we can hold just below or above 31.20, I'm looking for price to move up into the decelerators, what we call these red arrows, at 31.88. But again, it's not going to be easy. So again, needs to hold 31.20. We're looking for 31.88 and then 32.10. All right, that's Amazon. Let's go ahead and move on. This one is FDX. I'm also in this trade. So far, it's flat this morning, but again, it did push up nicely yesterday into our trendy edge, and that's where we would expect to see it kind of stall. And then this pre-market, we pushed up a tad, we came back, and this is exactly what I want to see. All right, once we pass resistance, see here, we want to come back and test it as support. That's exactly what's going on. As far as today is concerned for FDX, I would like to see at least 259.5 hold. I'm looking for 266, and above that, we're looking for 281. This is a swing trade. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go into GME, game. All right. And let's go ahead and check from here. Okay. So GameStop. You guys surprised that I took this trade yesterday? You should be. I was a little scared to take it. I'm not going to lie to you, right? We took AMC in the past, we did really well, but I said, you know what? Let's just trade the technicals and let's go a little bit smaller. All right. Technically speaking, over here on the weekly chart, price came down. Okay. We got that nice rounding bottom. That's what we look for. We moved above the trendy edge. Why not get long? Not only did we move across or over the EMA cloud on the weekly, now we are above the cloud above the 4 hour. This is a bullish setup. As long as price can hold today above 100, listen guys, the personality on GameStop, it's wild. You cannot go big in here and expect to put a tight stop. So the way that I like to approach something like this is you go smaller and you're able to get a wider stop, and that way you can endure the personality of this stock. Okay. Next target here for me is into this pivot around 141. Next target 146, and then 168 to finish out the week would be very nice. Again, it needs to hold around 100 to 99. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to go ahead and look at Microsoft. I entered this. This closed up about 16% yesterday. It was giving us a hard time at the trendy edge. It could not hold. And you can see here pre-market, it's doing the same exact thing. So you're probably going to see a little bit of theta burn here. We need price to stay above the trendy edge. So again, that yellow line. And if we look to the right, that's 236.79. Let's go ahead and just say 237 on that. Okay, so I'm going to set an alert here just above there at 237, and this is a current position. Okay, and then as long as it holds the 4 hour cloud, the EMA cloud, then all is well. All right, let's go ahead and move on. MU, I really like MU. It's been getting all kinds of upgrades. It's been super bullish for several weeks, and you can see the inception of that started here on the weekly on the left at this inside and up. Okay, nice follow through. Now, like AMD, and I don't want to scare anybody, but just like AMD, when AMD got close to 100, everybody's looking for 100, right? And we, right, don't want to be taking a trade right before 100 because I feel like the rest of the market is looking for that. Well, this is different, right? This is MU. So I got a nice setup here. The neutral is between 93 and at or around 91 and a half. So not much of a risk for a swing trade, but if you're looking at weekly expirations, then I would be careful. Okay, maybe you like debit spreads. I'm looking for the all-time high around 97. As long as price can hold on a weekly expiration, okay? As long as it can hold 92, I like it into 97. As far as the swing position, 91 and a half, and then I'm looking for extension targets into 101 and 104. Okay, so swing versus weekly expiration, and I do trade equity as well, and you can see that over here on the right. So I do equity, spreads, everything you name, I will trade that. Okay, it just depends on how much premium we're looking at and so forth. All right, the next one I want to talk about is PLTR. And the reason that I want to talk about PLTR is because everyone's talking about it. And it's just one of those things, right? It's like Murphy's Law. Everyone's talking about it. It tends to do really poorly. Okay. Last night I made a joke, right? I said that I'm muting the word Kathy. No offense, Kathy, but I actually did muted that. I did mute that word. I just tired of hearing it. I don't want to hear about what ARC's doing. I want to hear about the trendy process, and we're going to stick to that. So let's go over it. As you can see, price came down into the trendy edge and it did go bid. Okay, this means that buyers did step in. So things look good on PLTR from a swing perspective. We are in a ballpark of an area of what we call demand, meaning buyers are lining up. Okay, now it's not going to be easy over here on a smaller time frame because we are just in the cloud. So typically, like I was saying yesterday, it's like in a plane, right? You tend to hit clouds, you get a little bit of turbulence. I would expect that here. All right. So this is not an area where I go full all, full in allocation. This is where I start and I want to see bids above the cloud. Once we start to get above 27, then things start to look a lot better for this trade, okay? But far as support goes, it's going to be this edge and this edge. Basically 23 and a half would be my risk. And again, I'm looking for a move into 30.72, rejection there, consolidation, and then later on in the month, looking for that 37.35. And again, as long as 23 and a half holds. Let's go ahead and move down into the Qs. These are important. Here at Trendy Trading, we use what's called the neutral strategy, okay? And the neutral strategy, we basically just wait to see, okay? Pull this up for you guys just a tad here. Let's make this about like that. There we go. All right, let's do this for right now. And that way I can see. Come on down. There we go, right there. All right, so this is a neutral strategy. And basically, as long as price is moving out of the neutral, we look to trade it into the targets above, okay? So let's come over here. Let's get to 3-1 so I can show you the results of this. Now, this is very simple from here, all right? We try to make the most simple trading strategy out there. So price did move into our targets. You make money out of the neutral, great. Now, the target that we hit was 320.89. So today, the way you want to say this, as long as 320.89 holds, we're looking for 325 and a half. Very straightforward. As you can see on the 4-hour cloud, QQQ is holding that cloud. And again, I like to see this support a little bit of sideways choppiness because yesterday was a big day. It needs to digest that move, and then boom, we get the accelerator through the trendy edge and looking forward to 327 and possibly 335. Okay, inside week, all is good so far. Now let's go ahead and get to Rocket. Rocket, again, we're going in alphabetical order, so sorry for the wait here. But Rocket is absolute amazing. It's been a rocket, right? But I want to tell you why we took the trade. All right, and that's probably the most important thing so that you can learn. Here, okay, down here, I want you all to see this. Now, Trendy members, you all know, and if you're past Trendy member and you're tuning in, check it out. As soon as price went over the YE, then we're looking forward to this move to the upside. We look for the Trendy edges to be support. YE stands for yearly edge, okay? Once we broke out of the 4-hour 9 EMA cloud, notice how we ran very quickly to my targets of 27.89. Now, how does this work going forward? Well, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're just thinking about RKT, you should come check us out because we're going to show you how to get into trades before the masses. I promise you. So, what we're looking for now, if you are just now looking at this, this is your support and resistance. Support 25.98, resistance 27.89. Wait about 30 minutes to an hour. Let's see if that 27.89 can hold. Then I'm looking for 32 and a half. Okay, we're still in this trade. And if you look over here, folks, you could see where I am trimming, buying, and selling. Again, this comes within milliseconds from my real brokerage account. Okay, real trading going on here with real money, just my account. I'm not a prop trader and I'm not a furu. Big difference. Let's go ahead and move on into our next one. SMH, I really like this semiconductor ETF. I believe with MU, AMD, all of these have kind of just been settling as far as like NVIDIA. And what we have here is what we call an accelerator decelerator setup, ACDC. Okay. And the way I want to approach this is a swing trade. As long as these red arrows hold 240.61, I'm looking for a move and a 254.80. All-time highs around 259, and then an extension target 265 to 278. This is my swing trade. If you're thinking short term here, then I want to see the 4-hour cloud hold at about 245, and I'm looking for 255. So the risk to reward here is very nice on SMH. Let's go ahead and move down into SPY. All right, same thing, neutral setup for our ETFs here. All of these are given to our members on the weekend. All right, not last minute on Monday morning, not Monday afternoon. Everybody has time to set up and get ready for these trades. What we're looking for here, as long as we stay above the neutral, we look for our targets. We did hit our 390.41 target yesterday. Again, I sold that position for about 85 to 100%. So what's going forward? 388 and a half, 388.4 is your support. Resistance for right now is 391.48. Okay, 391.48. Bulls over 391.48 open this up into 394. Again, my target for shorter term is 400 to 420. All right, my projected target for the year I think comes in around 489, 490. I'll have to take a look at it again just to make sure. Now let's get to Tiger. What's TIGR doing? Right? Let's get over here and take a look at it. Um, we've been trimming on this thing as well. Okay. I really, really like Tiger. It comes through for us every time, right? It's almost like BAC. So when we trade BAC, we typically win like 80, 90% of the time. Might be better than that, right, folks? But the Tiger position is always doing well for us. Well, it's not going to be easy, right? So I went ahead and entered here. My support is around 23 and a half. All right, we are in the cloud on a 4 hour, and as long as we are in that cloud, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than some of the trades that might be outside of that cloud. Okay, so expect a little bit of turbulence. Once Tiger can get over this cloud at or around 27 and a half, then we start to move big time into 30, okay? And then upwards around 33, 39. All right, let's go ahead and move down. What about TLRY? Is this thing ready to get smoked? Are we going higher? I could tell you we already just trimmed around 26.35. So let's go ahead and pull this up for you guys. This one has some legs. Let's go ahead and take a look from a weekly standpoint. It's close to the trendy edge. This is why I took the trade. And then in here, I went ahead and started. And you can see there is momentum change. Red candles to white candles. This is a momentum change due to EMA crossovers and so forth, okay? So very straightforward. What I'm looking for is an attempt to the trendy edge at 28. So listen to me. Support 23 and a quarter, target 28. Support 23 and a quarter, target 28. Let's go ahead and move on. TMDX, what an amazing move for us. We are in this trade. We have done very well with this huge gap up this morning. This thing, I tell you what, the way I feel about it is we see 100 easily this year. All right, I'm super bullish on this. There's a little bit of consult you see yesterday that's tried to trick us. It hit our ME, okay, and pulled back like it was supposed to, but it stayed inside the entire time. We blew past the edges. Now there is a possibility we come back. Remember, once we break what was resistance, we come back to test support. The timing is the variable. We have no idea when it will come back to test that, but just understand for the time being, all right, that these are support until proven otherwise. So 38.90 is support, and then we're looking for targets to the upside. Let me give you a quick demo on how to create targets to the upside when you don't have candles to the left. We use what's called a Fibonacci extension. I'm going to go from the most recent rally, which comes out of this inside and up, and you can learn all this stuff here at Trendy Trading. We're going to double click at the highs, and this is going to give us our targets here. And this works very, very well. So what we're looking for again, as long as we can hold these edges down here, I'm looking for 45, 47, and 51. Please keep in mind that these do have earnings coming up today after market. So for me, I continue to trim, all right, and I'm going to hold a little bit into earnings, something that I'm comfortable with, all right? All right, let's go ahead and move down here into Tesla. I also took Tesla yesterday, and it moved out very nicely for us. Now, I did a debit spread with this, and if you don't know about debit spreads and you're an options trader, then you definitely need to come check us out. I'll be happy to teach you. It's about using small risk for a big return. All right, and the reason why I'm looking at debit spreads on Tesla is because I'm bullish, but we're in this cloud, and the premium is just too high. So I'm not going to pay up something super expensive when the probability suggests that we're just going to chop a little bit. But on that lower probability that we actually break out of here, then I'm looking for targets to the upside around 751 this week. So 737 to 751 far as support goes, we need to stay above the cloud. So at or around 700. All right, 700 holds. I'm looking for that bigger move in a 751. Now, please understand, you see these red arrows here? These are part of my scripts. 718.89, it's a doozy. If it can't get over that, it's just going to sit here and chop and burn premium. Okay, again, debit spread, super inexpensive, but the return is very nice if we hit our target. Okay. All right, last one here that I'm looking at, and then I'll open it up to you guys, is ZM. So ZM, that's right. You guys already heard it. You've probably seen it on Twitter. I took this trade. I did a debit spread into earnings, folks. $40 for about a 500% return, I believe, and we hit our mark. So what I'm looking for, unfortunately, this does happen, is that the trendy targets are so good that if we hit them in aftermarket, we tend to reject. Okay, so targets are going to be resistance until proven otherwise. So 454 was our target. We came up and hit that, and this morning we're pulling back a little bit, right? We're pulling back. Look where we're pulling back, right into the trendy edge. All right. So what are we looking for this morning? Well, I want to see the trendy edge hold, which comes in around 440 and a half, and then a bigger move above 447 into 450. Now, really quick, just so that we can go over this trade, as soon as we open, we can look to close if you're happy with those gains. But the debit spread that I put on was a 445. Okay, so that's our calls at 445. So we're just under that. Either way, it's going to be up because of premium and so forth. So things should look good on open. All right. All right. So let's go ahead. So I got to show you guys this. Okay. You can't see me on camera. You might make fun of this, but this was a gift given to me a few years ago from my wife. And because I had the screen set up here, I can't see the main chat. So I have this thing, and you can like wrap this around your neck. It's really cool for FaceTiming, and you could place it on your desk, and it holds your phone. These things are super amazing, and so I am monitoring the room here with your questions and so forth. So let's see here. I'm gonna move down. It looks like we're looking at some of your questions. UPWK Upwork. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, and the way that I suggest that you guys ask me, are you short term? Are you looking for more of a swing? Right? That kind of helps me answer your questions faster. But I will go over both setups very quickly. So Upwork, all right? Let's look right here. We have an AC/DC setup. What we're looking for, as long as price holds this 4-hour cloud, this is short term, folks. All right. As long as it's holding 54 and a half, I'm looking for 61 and a half. 61 and a half. Okay. That's short term. And that's on Upwork. Very nice find there, DC. You do have the scripts as well, so I'm sure you see that as well. So my confirmation says, this looks good, man. As long as we can stay above that accelerator, we're looking for 61. Another thing that I'd really like to put in there for everybody that might be watching us, the difference between us and the million other educational rooms out there is we have a process, and everybody here at Trendy Trading actually uses the same process. So there's not a lot of noise. We're all looking at the same setups. We're looking at the same entries. We're looking at the same exits typically. And so therefore, it's really nice and clean and keeps the room organized. And we're all focused here to make money. Next thing I'm going to look at is NVAX. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so same thing here. All right, so notice over here on the weekly, all right, we came into what I call lower on the curve. So if you were to do a curve here, you can see we came into the trendy edge. This is the best setup. So we want to be buying down here, and we're looking for a move up into the D cell. So the way I want to approach this, as long as this pink and yellow, let's just go ahead and put this together right here. This is going to be your neutral, all right? Now, it is in a downtrend for right now, but it is 3 weeks down. So this is a good time for it to find some support here. It might take a little bit. My total cutoff from this thing would be around 217 and a half. We are in the cloud, so again, I expect a little bit of turbulence here. All right, so it's going to be a longer trade. I like this better for a swing because it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay. Now, if we break through that cloud, again, I am looking for 258.19 and 269. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at NVIDIA. Again, semiconductor, I really like this space right now. I mean, check out, I really like what I'm seeing on NVIDIA. As soon as you open this, you cannot deny that the trendy edges are the best thing to use. You don't need news. Price came down into our edge. We look to go long. Okay, nice push here. We are setting up for an ACDC. I hope you guys already recognize that. ACDC, and we're looking for 596 by 603. You are in the cloud, so starters, right? Starters for now, and then add on a close of a day to 2 days above this cloud, and then again 596 to 603. So again, semiconductor space, I'm really liking what I see here. All right. All right, so the next one, this is a great one, is Bitcoin. All right, now I don't trade Bitcoin, just to be transparent, but man, I can chart the heck out of it. I can tell you where it's going before it goes there, and I can tell you where to buy before it gets there. All right, this is all using trendy edges, and you guys know this. All right, so here, all right, we said that price would come into this green box, it would launch into the red box. It did that. I can't make this up. This is the same chart that I gave you out on Twitter almost what, a month and a half ago, guys? Probably something like that. So all is working well. Now, what I want you to understand is that it hit our levels and it rejected. But just like anything, the more that it gets tested, the more it gets tested, the weaker it gets. So the more we test resistance, the more of a probability to the upside that we're going to break it. Just like if you're long something and it keeps coming down and testing your support, it gets weaker and weaker. And once it breaks, you should be out of that trade. Okay. Here on Bitcoin, we're above the 4-hour 9 EMA. We're retesting what we call supply or selling, okay, and or resistance. And the more we test this, we should be able to hold. Your key number here on Bitcoin, you need to hold 49,977. You can just say 50 if you like, but I like my numbers. All right, so 49,977. If you can hold that level, at least for a day or two, I believe that we work ourselves back up towards 54,936. As far as support is concerned, this is your weekly edge, trendy edge. 46,051 is the support for this week. Okay, for this week. Longer term, your support comes in here. I'd be using the weekly 9 EMA on Bitcoin, which comes in around 42,299. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. No more questions, no more requests. We got about 3 minutes to go. Let's get serious. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to pull up the ES futures, and as you guys can see in the background, I have all my other setups that I like to watch. So I'll be monitoring those, and then over here you can see me, and you can see this chart. That looks like this one behind me. Same thing, four screens, and everything's laid out very nicely, very organized, and I need to stay very focused and patient. If one thing I can give you today is just take about 30 minutes to an hour and just let things settle in. A lot of algos take over in the first 30 minutes, and so you do want to be patient, all right? All right, so thanks for joining us. If you want to check us out, go to trendytrading.co. And if you like this video, give us a like and a retweet. I really appreciate